Hey, welcome back. Today we are going to have one logic app, logic app implementation, right? We have Dataverse, right, in our Power App, right? So in Dataverse, what to have? We can have two different, tables. Let's, for example, one table is uh, called user info, maybe user info. The other table will be contacts, right? Or contact info. So here, so we have two tables in the Dataverse. We'll usually will create those two table. One is user info, another will be contact info. Okay, and in this case, maybe in user info we'll have two things like maybe user ID, and address, right? Or name and address. Okay, so address can be full address, right? In the sense like, let's for example, user ID is 1, name is user1, U1, and address can be, the uh, post office, right? And state or district, and then, country, pin code, all these things contain will be here, right? So what we're trying to do, and here in the contact info, we have another field called, contact ID, user ID, or contact ID, or maybe the address, the contact. So what we are trying to do here, one business process is, the moment we are trying to insert anything into this particular, particular table, the same time it should able to ingest, it should get this particular address, and ingest that into our contact table, contact info. We don't need user detail, right? But we need the address detail here, correct? So that way you should able to post it, right? So that's how we are going to build another, workflow at this point. In this particular use case scenario, right? So here definitely there are connectors will be used, the triggers will be used, right? Dataverse trigger will be used. Here you have to process the data, and whatever the data you are getting from here per record, you will be, you're going to massage it, and then you will again run the action, right? And this guy will go ingest into this particular table. So ideally we are going to use the logic app in from the Azure, but we are trying to integrate the same with our Dataverse available in our Power Apps, right? Or Power Platform. So those two use cases we are going to build, right? So let's go and start with that, and we'll see. Okay. So here we have our portal, right? The create resource, again same thing, logic app. So this time what we are trying to, right? What exactly we are going to use the Dataverse from our Power Platform, okay? And then there we are going to create two tables, okay? And in that two table, we are going to, whenever we are going to create a workflow, okay, which will take care of like whenever we are going to insert any record into the Dataverse, okay? So immediately the workflow will be kick off, and in the action what it will do, it will try to capture the address, okay, and try to store it in our contacts, okay? So that's where we are going to do it, okay? So let's go for that, okay? So we'll go for the logic apps. Again, from the logic apps we'll see this, okay? And here we have the logic app. Here, go and create one. We know like we have to choose for the consumption plan, and from the consumption plan, go select it, and we have to have our resource group. We have the resource group RG smart techie, and then we are going to provide is Dataverse. We'll say Dataverse Logic App, right? Dataverse Logic App, and we'll same thing. We'll go with the EastUS. So with EastUS, what we are going to do, we will just let it as is the. We are not going to enable the log analytics, right? Then we'll review and create it. Well, while we are creating it, let's go back and we have to set up our Dataverse, right? So let's go to the Dataverse. Okay, so here we'll see like in our Dataverse, the environment is Dataverse, right? So here, what something is went wrong. What is sort of most update? Try again. Press it. What's going on? Let's type the table. What is this error showing? Environment, something went wrong. Okay, we'll try to create one more environment. This one, browse. Let's see, try. Environments. So I mean, why it's showing some error? Anyways, so we'll try to use this account. Hopefully, there will be no issue. Tables, right? Due to your current privilege for this environment. Why this guy is having some problem? Something wrong. Right again. Some update feature may not be behave currently until successful connection it is established. Go to the admin center. Yeah, something is messed up probably. Well, that environment is not there, but that environment is still showing there. This is weird. Okay, let's create one environment again. Okay, smart verse. Okay, smart verse, and then this environment manage. No, we are not going to do anything. We'll just keep it none. And the region we are going to use the US region. Okay, United States. So for the United States, then what we're going to do, we are going to select the developers, right? See, if you go with the sandbox, you will get more features, but there are some extra charges you might include, and you have to configure some different environments, right? And you must have known about everything. You already already well versed with the Dataverse, hopefully. So, and we are, I mean, I'm choosing the developer environment, right? And then just leave it as is, and then create on behalf nothing, add a data store. See, this is teachable. It's automatically create the data store, right? And then it's also pay as you go. So next. Okay, so we'll bill by USD, USD. Okay, and deploy sample apps data and leave it there, and then just save it. So it's trying to create one environment. Okay, the environment is getting prepared, right? So it's too small for you, maybe. Okay, so it's trying to prepare the environment. While it's preparing the environment is ready now. We'll go to this environment. Okay, and what we'll try to do, okay, so we'll go to this particular one, right? Here we'll go. We'll just replace it. Okay, we got a smart wash. Okay, so here we have all those tables available, and what we'll try to do, we'll try to create create one table. So here we have new table. Okay, new table and data, right? So we can add columns and data and create from external data. That's fine. Or what we can do, we'll try to create a new column, right? So new column, edit column, we'll say like what we supposed to build. We're supposed to build one what is the board, smart board. We're supposed to build one. Where is the whiteboard I was showing here? Okay, so what we are trying to build here, we are trying to build this use case, right? So we'll have the user info and we'll have the contact info. What exactly we are going to do, we'll have the user ID and the address, right? User ID, name and address. And then whenever we are trying to create, trigger, the trigger should, capture this data and store it into the contacts, right? Only the, this data should go to the contacts table instead of this particular, whole address, right? So that's what we are going to do it. Ideally, what we supposed to do, we'll do in any address, we are getting set of details, right? One is maybe the post office and the city, district, and country and pin code. All these things we used to get under this particular, address, address section, right? Address column. So what we want to do, our business process use case would be whenever we are getting one record into this particular user info, immediately the trigger should kick off and capture this particular address field, okay, and parse it that in the sense like split that particular, that particular field into multiple parts, okay, multiple parts, and store those multiple parts into different columns, like street, state, sorry, street, and then city, and then pin code, right? Like that way, whatever we are getting, we are splitting it and putting it into different columns. Exactly the same thing you can write as a trigger in your SQL PL SQL code, right? So here we are not using the any code, so so that's why we are able to do that from our tool base, right? Tool based system. So that's why you are going to do it. In that case, what we will do, let's go back to our no, I have to minimize a little bit. You are not able to see this, right? Okay, so So here, what will provide? We'll provide the edit the column. Column name will be user ID. User ID, right? So what this would be the single line text, okay? Or you can make it the incremental, right? Auto increment. So it's a number, okay? So in the advanced option, you can go with like, this is text only, right? If you go with the number, it's a whole number, right? In the whole number, you can provide the user ID and update it, right? Or why it's not choosing number? User ID, edit column, primary can be a column, table name before. It should be able to give us the auto, right? Okay, leave it text for now. Okay, so we'll see. Update it, okay? And we'll add another column called address, right? Address. So in this case, this will be, the text option. In this text option, it can be, the multi-text in the text area, correct? In this text area, you can put it and provide the require, and you can add it. Save, for example, okay? The text. The moment you will provide this, so this is what our, the table definition is. So provide the table definition user info. Table name is user info, right? So then the user ID is the primary key, obviously, right? And then just save it, right? And then we'll go back and create another table, right? Create it. Okay, and then we are going to create another table with create table with data, and then we'll give the table name called contact info. Contact info, right? In this contact info, we'll try to give it, just save it, and then we'll just edit this name, contact ID, for example. Contact ID. Okay. So here, what we'll provide as a number, whole number, and one whole number is not accepting. Anyways, so update it, and then we'll try to add more columns, right? The more columns we're going to create new column, right? So the new column, as I said, street, right? Street, and then it will be single line column, let it be, okay? And this will be street. Save it, and another new column name called city, okay? Save it, and we'll call what, display name city, then zip code, right? So save like this, right? So we need, whenever we are getting a full address, we are just trying to capture that address and try to split that address and store it in a different contact table, right? So that's how we are trying to have our use case, correct? So now the both table are created. Now we'll go back and try to build our workflow, right? So let's go back all services, and in our, so we have created one all resources. In the all resources, we didn't create yet. Okay, we have to create one resource. Which resource? The virtual no, logic apps, right? Logic apps. So in this logic app, so we are going to select here and create here, go for it, and then we go for the consumption, and then select it. Like we have to use the consumption plan instead of the standard. And let's see, like integration, for example, okay, something like that. Then so I am selecting my region and I'm leaving as is and just review it, right? Once it will be reviewed, it will ask for create it. Let's create it. Okay. So while it's creating, oh, it's created. Okay. So now we'll go to the resource, right? When we'll go to the resource, what is the process we are going to ideally do? We'll go to the designer, right? In this designer app, so what we are going to do, we'll have trigger. So here we have to select what exactly the trigger we are going to use, right? So the trigger is insert row. When insert a row, right? So just look for the row, right? When row added, right? There is a trigger called row added. So under which trigger kind of component? Microsoft Dataverse, right? So you can have multiple triggers, right? Different kind of triggers. So you can get one trigger, choose one trigger. Which one? When we are going for adding, whenever the record will be added, then it's automatically, it should automatically insert into another table, right? So we have to sign into the Dataverse because there are two different components, right? Wherever the logic app is, it's Azure component, right? But the integration we are trying to do with is the Power Apps, right? So that's why we have to again log in here to get access to that particular Dataverse environment. So now we see different environments here, right? So one is the logical solution that we are not using. No, we have created one is the smart verse, right? The smart verse is the Dataverse what we have created now. Select that, and we should able to see the tables we have newly created, right? Let's look for that. What we have created, user info. Look for user info. It should be at the end because it's sorted order, right? User infos, right? User infos, right? Here. And whenever what we are trying to do here, whenever we are trying to add any record or row into this particular user info table, okay, so it should able to capture that record and parse it, process it, and as an action, insert the same record into a different table that's called contact info, right? So it's trying to load something. Scope. Okay. A failed track result in subsequent output might not be visible in the subsequent action. The gateway didn't respond. Okay, it's not returning any value. Okay, so why connected as this? So let's go back and check the permission. What exactly the permission it's needed to configure, right? The users, right? Manage users security access, where we can see this supposed to be, so yeah, it's showing now. What the heck? Okay, so what are the different roles available here? Or we can go for like the developers and approval administrator, maybe I can say approval
You can
user
give
and the
system
developer.
admin.
But yeah, directly
System
we can
admin.
give the system admin. That will be system administrator. We provide everything. So now it should be Is there any save button? There is no save, right? It's on event, it will be saved automatically. So let's see. It's okay, it's added. So we'll go back and try to refresh the our prompt and see like how it's trying to change the connection. No. User info. See, this guy is now showing, right? So let's make it the business unit. That's all. And then save it, right? And save it. Okay. So whenever we'll try to add anything, so it should capture here, right? So now what we are going to do, we'll do one action. So one action in the sense how we are going to make it. So we'll use, likewise we have used one variable. Here also we'll try to use couple of variables, right? The variable is like variable, initialize a variable. So this kind of variable, what we can say, uh, address address splits. Address splits. So in the address splits, what we are going to do, this will be what we can say, array. We'll shoot it array, or we can put it. Okay, let's put it an array, right? So in this array, what we can do, we are going to provide something. What we are going to do, we'll go here, the dynamic one, include dynamic, the function in the function body trigger. Right, there is no content available for the dynamic one. Include the dynamic contents. This guy is, anyways. So what we'll try to do, we'll try to get the whole information, right? So we'll put the information like the whole body, right? Whole body, trigger body. Trigger body, okay? Just let's add it for the timing, okay? So then what we'll try to do here, not an array. So let's put it the string, okay? I'll put it the string and I'll put the body, trigger body. So we'll convert it to string. String. So whatever the body we are getting from the trigger, we are trying to send it, okay? So put it here, and what we are going to do, now we are going to add another action, right? What exactly the another action is, again, same thing, row. Okay, and row addition. So we have a, what is our, okay, in row.
Update a row. Update a
Yeah.
row.
You are asking something?
No, it should be
Here.
update a row. Yep.
No. Here actually it should be add row, right? We should add a row, correct? So for adding the row, YC mode. Okay, here add new row, right? Because our use case is like adding in one table, it should add to the another table, but with some processing, right? So that's what we are trying to do, correct? So this flow, ideally what it will do, it will go with this, and this time we are going to select a different table. So that table is called contact info, right? Oh, should be on C, right? Contact infos. These two tables we have created, right? One is user info and another is contact info. So the contact ID, So the contact ID is asking for like what we can do. We can contact ID provide maybe some user ID. We can provide user ID as a contact ID, right? That's fine. So and then what we can do and add it, right? So now we want to add more, right? So we want to add more. Which one we want to? We want to add let's for example street, right? And we want to add everything ideally, right? Everything city and then what others we have added? Zip code, right? And maybe this thing, right? And we'll just make it. So what it will be, we'll get it from we'll put it at this particular point of time. We'll just put it as a the initialization, what the initialization we had, the variable, the address split. Okay, we'll just put the address split at this point of time in this, not here, everywhere. Okay, everywhere. Why I'm putting this, I'll tell you. Okay, variable. The zip code we did number or which one? Let's say we'll say and owner ID. Owner ID take the system user, whatever. Okay. So I'm putting everything, I'm selecting same thing. Okay. Just keep in mind. Okay. So we'll do that. Okay. So now let's see and try to. Now it's name and our flow is ready, right? So what we can do, we can make a parallel here as well. The add a parallel branch. What we can do, row. We'll try to list the row, whatever the row we have created, right? So we'll try to list those row. List here. No, list rows. What row you want to list? So list the user info, right? User infos. So we'll try to list those, right? Here, whenever we'll run this, here we can able to see the data available in the data available in that particular table, the user info table, right? And here also, once it's added, so we can able to add another trigger action called list again. You want to list the data available in your contacts after the action done, right? The workflow done. So in this case, what you're going to do, where is it? No, it's let's row, right? So that it will filter quickly. Can go the Dataverse. Okay. So this one. Okay. Now here you are going to choose the other table, the contact info table, right? So contacts info table, and that's done. Okay. And we'll save it. Done, right? Now our workflow is done. What exactly to do? Whenever we will try to create add any row into our table, the user info table, the same time it will list all the records available in that table. And similarly, what it will try to do, it will try to get the record, and that particular record will able to send it to this particular new table, right? The new table in the sense like the contact info table, and then store it. But it should store it in a splitted way, right? But at this point, I just put it all, whatever the record I'm getting, I'm just putting the same record in in same data in every field, right? So, and the next thing I'll tell you, okay? So now let's try to run it. So when it will run it, it should fail. Okay. Why? Because we are not getting anything, right? We didn't provide any data, right? Then what it will run ideally, right? So, so then to see what it's run or not, So you have to go to the, go back and go to the run history, right? So this run history, it's showing its success. Okay. Then what success it's showing? Because there is no data available, right? So the output, it's showing just the content length is 0. So there is no data available. Okay. So if you see here, data number of the paths, this is the output, right? In this output, you see no data, right? It's just the header information, right? So that's how it is. And then we'll actually do the actual action or trigger. Let's go back to our platform, and then Dataverse, and then go to the tables, and from the tables, let's go to the user info. Okay, in the user info, we'll try to edit it, right? Edit it, and user info will provide maybe one. Okay, and we'll provide the address. Let's address is like 101 Golden Gate Avenue. Okay, and then I'll just provide city San Francisco, and then I'll provide the zip code, right? For example, right? So I'll provide this. See, I'm providing the whole address. This our end goal should be like getting this one, okay, and splitting the address and store it into the context table, right? So that's how it should be. So data save, right? This is data save. So ideally, at this point of time, there should be a trigger happen, right? Let's go back and refresh it. What's it's running, right? Well, something fair. Okay. See, it's got the data, right? If you see here in this, it's the output, right? Here you should able to see some data that we have provided here. See here, 101 Golden Avenue, San Francisco, 94328, something like that, right? This data we got here. That means the trigger happened, right? The trigger happened, and then what next? This is also able to see, and here the variable, what this variable got, this variable got this data as well, right? This is the input. And the variable content is this address split, the variable name, and the data is holding its is all these things, right? It's holding all this message and all the whole thing. So now we have to parse it and store it. Now what happened? Why this failed? Okay, this failed because the maximum space it's trying to reach out the maximum space. So that means it's not able to store all the data, right? It's not able to store the data because the size is larger than the 100, 100 characters what we have defined here, right? So let's, for example, we'll go back to our to our other table, contact table, and see the contacts info, right? In this contact info, what we'll do here, we have provided this, right? If you see in this, the create change this table, and here if you see in the advanced, what is the maximum size? 100, right? You can make it higher, maybe 1000, for example, and save it, right? And maybe you can do all these things, or you can do one thing here, right? Because here is the variable you have, right? You can add another variable. Go here. Okay. So here, what you can do, this variable you have, right? So here you can add something else. What? You can split, okay, or soft string. Soft string, this particular string, whatever you are getting, okay, or you can add another variable also. Okay, I'm just updating the same variable. Get this substring what 0th record to 99 characters or 98 characters. I'm just making sure like it's just collecting 10 no 100 100 characters, less than 100 characters, so that it will able to store it at least, and will able to see that, I mean, we are able to store. Okay, so now this and save it. Okay, so now let's uh, let's try to run once so that it will refresh the whole thing once more time, and we'll go back to our you know history. Here you can see which is failing, which is not running. So see, this is failing. Anyway, we are not providing any data, so that's failing. And now we'll go and add same kind of data once more time. So go to the table and go to the user info and try to here, right? So we'll just try to edit it, and we'll make it 2. And here what we'll do, we'll provide something like 102. Let's say 4 9 9 2 3 4 5. Okay, something like that. Then the moment I'm going out, its data is safe. Now there should be a trigger happen, right? Okay, this time it's success. See, as we saw last time, all the in this case it's a failure scenario, right? Here you will able to see like, okay, this is failed, this could not able to run, this could not able to run, right? Now this time it's able to execute all the step, all the stages. So in this case, what happened? We are able to see all the data. Now we are expecting there is a record inserted into the context table, right? So now let's go back. That will look weird, but you have to keep flow with me. Okay, so we'll go back and see the other table, right? The table, context table. Oh, okay, here is the record. This is the record. It's inserted, right? The first record it's failed. The record 1 failed. That's why record 1 didn't come here. The second record success. That's why it's contact ID 2. See, so it started from here. Now the data. Okay, so that data, what you see, it's something garbage. Garbage in the sense like it's not garbage. Actually, we are splitting the data. Okay, substring the data. Whatever the data we got here, right? Here the data is very small, right? Now the point is like whatever the data we are getting. See, this guy is splitting this only 99 characters, right? But we had other data here. What other data? If you see the other data, uh, see this was the data, right? These were the data, 102, this, all these things, and those things. You supposed to get this and provide that and split it, right? So now this is whole trigger happened. Now only the processing thing you need to take care, where you have to add a processing like another variable, or this variable you can update. So the only thing you have to do is like go here and do some magic here, right? Or you can do this. Just get the JSON data. Now you have to get the actual variables in the sense like the address field. Now you are getting the whole bunch of response you are getting from the Dataverse. You need to capture only the address field. You don't even need the user ID. Capture the address field and do those assign that particular address field and split it. Okay, from that address, split by semicolon, the way we have done in our previous use case, right? Split it and then split by semicolon, right? In our data, if you see, go back. uh, back here and see in our data, if you see, we have semicolon, right? For every element, we have semicolon. So split by semicolon this data and store this every part of the data into their respective column. That's all. Okay, that's how you have to put the processing logic and apply it so that it will automatically store over there, right? So that's for your homework to do that processing logic. I have given the whole structure for you, right? The structure from one end to other end. So now this processing you need to identify what exactly the whenever you are doing this, what is the function you want to use and how you want to split it. That example we have already have in our previous example, right? Apply those and you should able to get those information split by split, street, city and zip code, and those should be able to ingest over here. Okay, not here, in our context table, right? That table. Yeah. So here it should be the street address, and after semicolon there is another, right? It should be street and city and the zip code. There are three parts in our data, right? Those three parts should be come over here. Okay, so try to apply that particular mathematical mechanism to do that whole flow. Okay, and you will all set. So now this is how the whole integration happens when you are trying to build a logic app. Okay, then thank you so much.